Hi, hello, my name is Maria and welcome to Masha Talks, and the channel is called Masha Talks because I'm Masha and I like to talk, so it's like me yapping. I'm a bit under the weather, so my voice is like kind of dead. It sounds like really husky, like sexy, you know. Maybe I'm the only one who finds my voice sexy. Today, I wanted to talk about girlhood and what it feels to grow up as a girl and what going through puberty is like for a young girl in this strange, weird world that we live in. What inspired me to talk about this topic is that in one of my English courses that I'm doing in uni, it's called YA Girlhood in 21st American Literature, which is making me read like all these articles about girlhood sexuality, the complexities of growing up as a girl, this identity of girlhood and its social construction, because newsflash, girlhood isn't an actual thing, it's a socially constructed thing such as virginity. Just saying. So it's making me engage with all of these interesting topics that are bringing back a lot of memories and a lot of personal experiences and some growth that has to be done. This is not really like a video essay. It's more so of me just yapping to the camera, so you can play me in the back if you're interested. If you're not, go away. You're not welcome anyway. I'm joking. Please stay. Let's get started. I have my little pink laptop here. Foreshadowing, we're gonna talk about the color pink. I think it's time that I come out and tell the truth and admit to the fact that I was a former sexist or that I was a raging misogynist. Whew. Damn. No, please don't go. Please don't run away. Come back, come back, come back. Former. Did you hear the word former? Because it's former. Yeah. So the rough topics that I want to touch on today are girlhood, femininity, shame, internalized misogyny, and how I have navigated it and how I have overcome it and what I have to keep doing going forward in my life as a woman, because I'm a woman now. So growing up, I was a raging pick-me, a raging, not like other girls girl, a raging girl who wanted attention from boys all the time, but not in a romantic or sexual way. The community and the environment that I grew up in was very sexist, might I say, but also very like traditionalist in a really backward sense. Like, I have so many anecdotes and stories. I have a big brother, right? So growing up, I really idealized him and he lived a different kind of life than I did, and I wanted his kind of life. And I don't know what prompted me to become a tomboy, but ever since I can remember, which is like from 6 years old, I think that's as far as my memory spans, I have admired my brother and wanted to be more like him. I'm not sure where this like inherent want to be a tomboy came from. I remember always rejecting femininity when I was a child, so my parents and my mom would always try to buy me dresses and skirts, and my mom would always try to make me wear them, and I just hated them. I hated them. I hated the color pink. I hated skirts and dresses so vehemently. I definitely didn't pronounce that right. Is that even a word? So vehemently? So vehemently? So strongly that I would start crying if my mom would make me wear a dress or a skirt. I remember when I was in school and there was no uniform and I used to wear shorts and trousers all the time, so when my parents would call, ask what I was wearing, and when they found out that I was just wearing shorts and trousers, my mom would call me and tell me to put on a skirt, which would make me cry. I remember sobbing on the phone being like, I don't want to wear a skirt. Which, let's unpack that because that's interesting, because first of all, why did I have to wear a skirt? Was it because I was a girl? Was it so shameful to be wearing shorts and trousers as a girl, as a little girl? So obviously my parents were really traditionalist and they did enforce these gender roles onto me. So growing up, I was like, no, I really didn't like anything to do with femininity. As I'm analyzing that and dissecting that from an older perspective, I don't know where it stems from. I know it's a lot to do with the environment that I was raised in. I could see how women and girls were treated in the community that I came from, and it really annoyed me. Like, even from the beginning, despite this is all I've ever known, it still pissed me off. 6-year-old me was a born feminist, girls. I might have had a shit ton of internalized misogyny, but girly was a feminist. Like, I would get pissed off if guys could do something and I couldn't. So I could see that difference from day one, but obviously I did internalize a shit ton of misogyny, and that started from a really young age. Examples of internalized misogyny that I would have was that I have friends obviously who did like wearing skirts and dresses, and I would make fun of them. I'd call them girly. I didn't want to play with them. I only want to play with the guys. Aww. This is so embarrassing admitting on camera. Oh my god. I wanted to play chasing with all the boys, and I'd feel so validated whenever they called me like fast or good or like speedy. I was like, yeah, this is like peak life ever. My female friendships were really complicated because I feel like I didn't value them as much as I valued a guy saying hi to me. I kind of just let the girlies slide, which is so upsetting looking back on. But I was like 6 years old at this time, so I'd say cut me some slack. Okay, so enough personal anecdotes about my own life. Let's get into the analysis of what I have learned about girlhood. I saw a couple other YouTubers talking about this topic, which I suppose also inspired me. I promise I'm not copying them or plagiarizing them. Please cut me some slack. Oh my god, thank you. I think now in like pop media culture, girlhood or being a woman or being feminine or being girly has become really popularized, because dare I say it was really shit on back in the early 2000s, and when I was growing up, like being a girl was almost embarrassing. I was embarrassed of being a girl, like I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't like it. I felt so uncomfortable in my body. When I went through puberty, it was one of the most lonely and depressing experiences for a young teenage girl to go through. I felt so ashamed of myself. And let's not even get started talking about periods and all of that crap, because that's a whole other nightmare that we're not going to get into today. But yeah, I've noticed this like change in the cultural zeitgeist of girlhood becoming more popular and more pronounced. Us women are finally understanding that it's okay to be girly. And I'm coming from a very like tomboy pick-me perspective, because I don't think I ever had friendships with women that were really feminine from the get-go. I don't know if they really like pink stuff or dressing and dancing and stuff like that. Most of the girls that I hung out with were kind of like me. Also tomboys, pick-me's, we had the same kind of mindset. So bear with me if you cannot relate or understand where I'm coming from. Some pop culture relevant people like today that are really bringing about what girlhood means would be like Sabrina Carpenter. Like her whole vibe is really poppy and girly, really pink, pastels. It's like she's unabashedly showing how feminine and girly she is, which I fucking love. Like I love her little outfits. I love her vibe. I love her style. I love her girly song. And girly isn't a bad term. Like for so long people use it as an insult, and I'm not having that anymore. Can you tell that this video has no actual point? It's just me ranting about what I think. Please don't click away. And then obviously we have the Barbie movie. Like we're not gonna rehash that because there's so many more complex issues surrounding the Barbie movie. I'm just coming from a girlhood perspective because of all the girlhood stuff and media and literature I've been consuming. Barbie is like unashamedly pink, unashamedly girly, unashamedly for the girls, by the girls. But you know what I mean? Like it's really pink, it's really girly, and takes pride in that, which I think is amazing. Because of all this context that I've given you about how I grew up and all the shame that I felt being a woman and a girl and indulging in girly things, becoming in touch with my own femininity has been really difficult. This is like really extreme examples, but when I was a kid I had this friend and we had this really weird friendship where we kind of competed with each other about who was the biggest tomboy, who the guys like to be best friends with more, a guy's girl, you know what I mean? And we would compete with each other. At the same time we loved each other as friends, but we also competed with each other so much for this male validation and attention, but not from a romantic perspective but from a like broski perspective. It was so fucking weird. I really want to do a whole other video analyzing female friendships and the complexities behind them, because what the fuck was that? I've met up with her recently and it was an amazing friendship. I'm really glad that we're still in touch to this day, and obviously we've grown. We're not those 11-year-old girls anymore. I remember we kicked footballs into each other's chests so we didn't get boobs, because we were like, if we kick a football hard enough into our chest we could stunt the growth of our breasts so that we wouldn't grow boobs, and then we would postpone our maturity into womanhood and we would stay as androgynous little girls forever, which is so fucking sad. Like what the hell? Like looking back on that, it's deranged but also incredibly depressing. I didn't want to be a woman so bad, and not from like a trans perspective, because I am not transgender or non-binary. I've always been a woman and I've always known that I was a woman, but I was also really ashamed of being one, and I didn't want to grow up and become a woman with boobs and a period. I thought that was hell on earth, and I knew what was coming, and I was like, please let me stay in this prepubescent body for as long as I can. So like for me, puberty was like a really horrible experience. I was so incredibly ashamed of it that I never even told my mom when I got my first period. And obviously that's because I have more of an extreme traditionalist background. I'm not saying this is the average experience of girls. Hopefully not, because it was kind of depressing. I think looking back on when we were children, how boys and girls interacted with each other was completely different, because there wasn't this layer of sex and this layer of attraction when you're children. This whole concept of male and female friendships, or more so like boys and girls friendships when we are children, is really different from what we are now. Obviously there's the whole idea that like, ew, boys have cooties, girls have cooties, and maybe we didn't really interact with the opposite sex when we were kids as much as we do now. But I also think it was a completely different interaction. Like you won't find that kind of interaction now. Well, obviously because we're all adults. but you don't find that kind of sexless interaction, does that make sense? With like someone opposite gender of the same age, there's always this underlying notion of like, you're a man, I'm a woman, you know? But when we were kids, it was like, we are both just kids. So I think we were both seen maybe a bit more as equals, like boys and girls were both children. Obviously, like there's a lot of internalized misogyny when you're growing up as a little girl compared to a little boy. I understand that, but from my experience, I think that it was more so on a similar playing field, whereas now I feel like I'm always seen as a woman first. I'm always seen as a female, God forbid, I hate that word, but as a girl first, then I would be seen as a human being, which makes me sad because sometimes I just want to be like an unknown entity sometimes. I don't want people to see me and have this already preconceived notions of who I am as a woman by the way I'm dressed and so on and so forth. I just want to be like a human being, you know? But yeah, I think that childhood is the last time you experience that kind of gendered equality. Not equality, equality is a big stretch. Gendered neutrality maybe? In some instances, in some experiences. The journey that I've had to make of unpacking my resentment of being a girl, being a woman, has been really difficult and complicated, even to this day. One of my biggest struggles is finding out my personal style. I really wish that I could dissect my brain and figure out if some of the things I like because they're not girly, and in my head, deep down, is still this internalized, deep-rooted misogyny of like, I can't like anything girly, I have to not be like other girls. Or is it because I genuinely don't like those type of girly things? For example, I still don't wear the color pink. I still don't like dresses and skirts. I never wear them unless they're like sexy and I'm going out, you know, but I wouldn't wear like a sundress. But I want to, but it's still difficult for me to accept that and wear the goddamn fucking sundress, because in my head, like from all those years ago, I'm still like, no mom, I don't want to wear the dress. I don't want to be like that type of girl. Which is like so fucking frustrating and annoying, because I don't think men go through this. Like, for fuck's sake. Ugh, fuck men. Oh my god, no, sorry. Don't fuck men. We love men. I love the men in my life. Trying to navigate between what I like, what I think I like, or what I might like just because of what I don't want to like is very complicated. For once, I just want to know if I like a certain thing because I like it, or it's because I was taught to like it. You know what I mean? Deep thoughts. I talk to the men in my life, like my boyfriend and my brother, about their experiences growing up as a guy, and it sounds so chill. Like, obviously, boys have their own problems and their own social dilemmas and their own experiences of manhood and masculinity, but I think they're a lot more, this is completely generalizing, okay, and I'm just speaking from the men that I've spoken to, that their experiences was like so much more simple. You know, you kind of just go through puberty and then you're a guy. It's almost a beautiful thing to become a man. It's like something to look forward to, like, yay, I'm finally becoming a man, or I'm masculine now, or, and I know girls experience that as well. I remember when I was in my school, my friends started growing boobs and wearing bras and stuff. They were really excited about it. So everybody's experience has been really different. My experience was that, please fuck no, I don't want this. But yeah, I think boys have this kind of boisterous confidence of being a man, and then they just grow into an actual man, and that whole process is kind of more streamlined and more something to be proud of almost. Like, it's not shameful. Like, becoming a man isn't a shameful thing. Whereas from my experience, take a shot every time I say from my experience, becoming a woman is a shameful thing. Okay, let's unpack periods. Let's talk about periods. I was so deeply ashamed of getting a period. I would get uncomfortable when my girlfriends would talk about their periods. I remember being so shocked when one of my friends like told me she was on her period, and in my head I was like, ew, that's so gross, why would you tell me that? And like, that's not gross. 50% of the population bleeds through their fucking vaginas every goddamn month. It's not gross. It's not gross. It's normal. That, I think, like, the period thing was so hard for me to grasp. Every month when I got my period, it was so shameful for me. I was so ashamed and disgusted in myself, and obviously these feelings of being grossed out by your period is normal, but that's when you should have women as role models, or not even women, even men as role models in your life to explain to you that it's normal and that these feelings will go away and you should not indulge in them, and like breed this cycle of shame. So I don't know if you can tell or not, but I don't really have a point in this video. I was kind of just inspired by the media that I was consuming in my life to talk about this topic because it's made me think about it a lot, but it doesn't mean I have concrete cohesive points despite being an English student. Okay, not everything has to be an essay. Doing that module really opened up my eyes to these complex issues and how I definitely wasn't the only one who experienced them. Like, a lot of girls in my class have also felt the same, and it's been so healing. Might I say a really cringe word, but the inner child in me has been healed to like dissect these topics with other women. Kind of another reason why I'm filming this video is like as a landmark to look back on when I'm older, because I don't know if you know, but I am only 18 years old, so technically I haven't completed the cycle of puberty or whatever. I'm still a teenager, so I still am experiencing all those things of being a girl and growing up and becoming a woman, because I'm not yet. I'm an adult, but I'm still a teenager. I think it would be really interesting 10 years from now to look back on my experiences in girlhood, which I think I still am experiencing because I still am a girl. So this hopefully will be like a milestone in my life as a woman, to see how I'm growing through each stages of my life. So I know that in my experience of being a girl, there's a lot of insecurity, shame, internalized misogyny, sexism, self-hatred, and that sounds really dark and sad. And I think that's something that I've worked on a lot. I have become proud of myself and the girl that I am, and being a girl itself. I've picked up loads of girly hobbies. I love doing my makeup, for example, which was something that I had to battle with myself. I love getting flowers. These are dried and dead. I love perfume. And these might seem like really generic, normal things, but for me, growing up, these were like the epitome of girliness and the epitome of like, oh, I'm not like other girls, could never be me. So the fact that I embrace these things, and it's so dumb looking back on it, because I mean, it's just makeup. But the fact that I've embraced these things and grown as a person really warms my own heart, because, but yeah, it's kind of like reconnecting with my childhood and doing all the things I never allowed myself to experience because I was too busy trying to not be like other girls. And like, it was so normalized growing up to shit on things that girls liked, because everything that girls liked was deemed as stupid, and femininity was dumb, and being a girl was dumb and stupid, and that's why I guess I internalized all of that, and I didn't want to be part of being a girl. I was like, no, I'm not stupid. I'm cool. I like the color blue. Oh, and all the stupid ideas like that are like what cemented in my head this fact that being a girl was like something to be ashamed of. That's kind of the end of my rant. I'm done ranting. I don't know if I even made any good points throughout this video. Again, disclaimer, not a video essay, just me ranting. And if you are interested about this topic, I'd love, 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 love to hear your experiences about being a girl and such and such and such and such, and what you think about girlhood now, looking back, or girly things in femininity now. The sun is setting and my face has become completely orange. Anyway, thank you for watching. I would appreciate it if you liked to subscribe, helped your girl out. JK, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Anyway, I'm gonna go, and I'm actually gonna go knit because I bought a new ball of yarn and I'm gonna make a scarf for myself. I went from girl to grandma, and you know what? I'm proud of that. Yeah. Okay, bye bye. I'll see you in the next video.